Family goes, oh na na na, oh na na na.
Purchase your
Come kick it with the Casey's. All that love and all those babies. C-A-S-C-Y. Welcome to the lights. Welcome. C-A-S-C-Y. DJ Envy and Gia, oh oh. It's time to kick it with the Casey's. You're tuned into the Casey Crew.
What up, y'all? It's DJ Envy.
And I am Gia Casey.
And this is another edition of the Casey Crew.
Welcome. Hello, beautiful people.
And I always start off by showing gratitude. I just want to say thank you, everybody, for rocking with us. We appreciate you. If you ever want to holler at us, you can always email us, thecaseycrew@gmail.com. That's THEEKCrew@gmail.com. If you have, if you want to ask us a question, you need advice. And shout out to our sponsors as well. Monster Energy, we appreciate you. Also, Lincoln Tech. Now, as you see, today I'm not by myself. Gia brought two friends with her today.
What are you talking about? You know, you're doing a lot. You always do it.
You got them things out today.
I'm like Esther and Ben?
She's like, I'm going to show you, you got them things out today. But now I would say this. Well, the things are out today. So welcome to the show. Thanks.
Hi.
There you go. Before we start the show, I just want to embarrass Benz a little bit. Do you mind?
You said her name. So, disclaimer, I have no idea what we're talking about. And if you don't know, that's usually how the podcast goes. He comes up with what he wants to talk about, and then I get bombarded once we're on the couch. And the reason is because he doesn't want me to have any preconceived idea or preconceived commentary.
Correct.
He likes to get my fresh, genuine, on-site reaction here on the couch. But I did hear Ben threaten his life and threaten also to do a cartwheel through the podcast if he mentions her name.
So if you don't know, if you just tuning in, Mercedes is my trusty assistant / CEO / right hand, right arm, whatever you want to call it, right?
Yes.
Now, what I wanted to talk about is weird food to eat, right? And I'm going to tell you why.
Why would she care if you mention your name about that?
Because I didn't tell you what she ate. So, and the reason I say this is because I want to take it out of Ben's paws, right? But I want to, but the reason I say this.
Out of Ben's paws.
No, the reason I say this is because I walked in the kitchen today, right?
Uh-huh.
And Ben's was eating.
Okay.
And it wasn't that the fact that Ben's was eating because, you know, our
Ben's
house
is always eating.
I wasn't going to say that, but
like
yes,
me.
Ben's,
like
yes.
me.
But, you know, we have the household where if you're family and friends, you don't have to ask. Go in the kitchen, take what you want to take. It doesn't matter.
Our pantry is literally a free-for-all.
That's right. But what Ben's had in her plate was a little troubling. And I said, Ben's, I don't know how you have a man eating like this.
How could it be troubling if she got it out of our house?
I'm going to tell you why. So I said, Ben's, I don't know how you're eating like this. Like, I don't even know how you have a man. Ben's FaceTime her man and was like, you know what boss just said? Boss just said this, that, and the other. He started laughing because obviously he said the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Ben's had in her plate, she had a bagel.
Okay.
With cream cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Chicken salad.
On the side?
I think on it. On the bagel.
On the
itself.
bagel. Okay.
And Cheetos.
Wait. Hold on a minute. Hold on. A bagel with cream cheese, chicken salad, and Cheetos.
I didn't stutter.
The Cheetos was on the bagel?
On the side.
Oh, on the side.
But she ate it together.
What do you mean she ate it together?
One bite, one bite, one bite, one bite. It was the weirdest shit I've ever seen in my life.
but
it was the weirdest shit.
But she chewed one bite and then moved on to the Cheetos.
But the bagel with cream cheese and chicken is on one side, and the Cheetos are on the other side, all crunchy. That's not weird?
I don't know. I don't know if I would want
a bagel with cream cheese, chicken salad, and Cheetos.
Well, I don't think that.
And a kiwi strawberry Snapple.
There's nothing wrong with the Snapple and the Cheetos. I don't know if I would have put the chicken salad and the cream cheese together.
That's not weird.
But who knows? It might be all right.
All right. For dinner, I'm going to bring you that. And I want you to eat every last bite of that. That shit is disgusting. I was flabbergasted by it. I was like, you have red Cheetos on your hands from putting in your mouth. Then you have a bagel that she toasted with cream cheese and chicken salad.
Was it the chicken salad that Irma made?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. It's bomb.
That's not nasty?
I don't know how it would taste with cream cheese. I probably wouldn't try it with cream cheese. The cream cheese and the chicken salad on the same sandwich is the only thing that I might have a potential issue with.
And
But if she says it tastes good, I believe her.
if there's women out there that like that, that might be why you don't have a man. Because if a man sees you eat something like that, I don't know if I would date you.
You don't have a problem with any of my eating habits?
You don't eat anything weird. You just eat everything, but it's not weird. Like
Just
you don't-
not all at the same time?
Right, it's not all at the same time. When I seen it today, I'm sitting there like, how?
But I could see myself having a chicken salad, maybe with some chips or Cheetos on the side.
Right. It's like a sandwich and a thing.
Or the chicken salad on the bagel with the Cheetos on the side. That's not the problem.
With cream cheese?
I think the cream cheese is the culprit.
It's all a culprit.
Not really.
That is weird. And,
I mean, not so much.
and to women out there, men look and judge what you eat. So if you do have a
I don't
obsession,
think so.
a fetish for Cheetos, cream cheese, and chicken salad,
I'm not sure I put the Cheetos on her butt. What are you talking about? Like, what
like that is just some weird shit to me.
No, stop. Do men really judge what women eat?
Yes.
Why?
Because that's savage. Like that's savage
No,
behavior.
that's just hunger.
All right. Well, I thought it was weird, but if her man likes it, I love it. But and I don't think he liked it because he was laughing. He was like, yeah. Because when she FaceTime, he was like, yeah, that bitch eat a lot. Like he said, like, yeah, that bitch eats weird shit. Like that's what he said to me. Like I see, like we would talking like this, and he seen it.
I have no issue with how much Ben. Me and Benz could go toe to toe.
Okay,
so
all right.
I don't know. Does Benz eat more than me?
No, I don't think anybody I know alive eats more than you.
Come on now.
I swear on everything. God hit me with lightning right now. You eat like a mother effer. Like what you eat is disrespectful. Like you really should be fat.
I don't
I 1,000%.
I don't like that word.
And yeah, she doesn't like the word fat. But yes, you should be overweight. You should be an orca. You should be big. You should be fat. You should. The way you eat is really crazy. And just to let people know, if you're just joining the podcast, Gia does not work out. She does not work out. She has amazing genes where she does not gain weight. And Gia does not starve herself. She eats when she wants to eat. The difference between Gia and most other people is she takes her time to eat.
Yes.
That's what I say. But Gia eats,
I eat very slow.
like she'll eat lasagna, steak, and eggs for breakfast at 8 a.m. She'll eat ice cream and strawberries for dinner. Gia will eat anything. Oxtail for breakfast. Like that is typical Gia. And nobody even thinks about it in this family or in this world because that's Gia. When she goes to the restaurant, she over orders. She'll eat and then she'll bring it home.
Okay.
But Gia does not waste food. She'll eat
Yes.
and eat and eat. If I'm in the gym.
If I over order, I bring home my leftovers and I'll have my leftovers for breakfast the next day.
Very disrespectful. If I go to the gym and she comes to the
I don't
gym,
waste food.
she's going to go downstairs with a plate and eat fork. If I'm driving somewhere and she's in the car and I'm like, take a ride with me, she doesn't say, okay, she takes the plate with her with a fork and she'll eat in the car while she eats. She's an eater, like total eater. And I've been waiting. I'm like, I can't wait to see I gain a couple of pounds. So I can be like, fat ass, but she's gained no weight.
So it's funny that you brought this up because this week, I had to tell Irma, I'm like, Irma, it's not that I don't love your food. I'm trying to adopt a new style of eating. Okay. Okay.
I hear this shit every year. What I want to do, I want to eat healthier. And maybe
no, I'm not talking about eating healthier.
Oh.
That's not even what I'm going to say. So when I was a kid, my dad used to joke and say, like, I think your legs are hollow because where's all that food going?
Oh, so you've been doing this since a kid?
Yeah. So he sat me down and he said, this is how people become overweight. I said, what do you mean? He said, because overeating can cause you to be overweight. He said, what you're supposed to do is recognize when you're full. When you're satisfied.
Oh, go ahead. Let's have this conversation.
When you're satisfied, you're supposed to stop eating. It's like your problem is you eat past satisfaction. You just keep eating. I'm like, yeah, I eat because I enjoy the taste of the food. So I've always been a plate clearer. Like I finish my food.
All day, every day.
Clear my plate.
Every day, all day.
And if I don't, I kind of feel guilty. I feel guilty as though I'm being wasteful. And, if you follow this podcast, I despise wastefulness. I like to make use of things. And, you think about the money spent on things. And you just don't want to be wasteful about it because there are people that are doing without, you know? So I said to her, I'm like, listen, I'm going to try to eat only up to satisfaction. I'm not going to make it my goal to clear my plate.
Mhm.
You know, like once I'm full, let me tell you, it never even really registered that I was full. Like I think my body just said, yeah, it don't matter to her. And it stops giving me those triggers. Cause I don't even really, people eat like, damn, like I'm full. No, I'm good. When I'm sitting at a table and someone say like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm full. And they push their plate away. I'm like, you're going to leave all of that?
And that's what I was going to say, because you do that to me. When I'm finished, you be like,
yeah, yes.
You don't want more food? That's all you're going to eat? Yes, because I eat until I'm full. I developed that a long time ago. When we used to do all those, what do we used to do? We used to drink the green drinks for a couple of days and fruit, the detoxes. We used to do all the detox.
That was the worst month of my life. I'm sure that it did wonders for my body, but that was legitimately the hardest thing that we've ever done. Mm-hmm. Explain what it was. Do you remember?
So we did a couple of detoxes. And when
Shout out the doctors.
Dr. Amun and Dr.
Jesse.
Coach Jesse.
Mm-hmm.
What was the other doctor's name? Oh my gosh, it was on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, but salute to the doctors and Coach Jesse. So we did these detoxes because what we wanted to do was take anything out of our system that was hazardous and bad for our system. It takes out cancerous things. So we did a 7-day detox and we did a 14-day, right?
No, it was a 30-day detox. So, and he begged me to do it with him because he didn't want to do it by himself. I'm like, yeah, nah, I don't know. But he kind of coaxed me for about 2 weeks. And I was like, you know what? I'll do it with you, because if I don't do it with you, I don't think you're going to have the willpower to do it by yourself. So the only thing that we were able to eat was anything that was organic fruit,
mm-hmm.
but it had to be on a particular list. It couldn't be anything that I think genetically modified.
No, it was all organic. Is
the right
mm-hmm.
term. So for instance, we couldn't eat a yellow banana because apparently, and don't quote me, I'm just trying to give you an idea. I don't really remember exactly, but apparently there has been some type of modification when it comes to yellow bananas. I think all natural bananas are red bananas, which up until that point I had never even heard of. But we were only able to eat red bananas, organic tomatoes, which is technically a fruit, avocado, squash, quinoa. I mean, literally, this is all that we're eating. So every meal was like quinoa, avocado, tomato, and only organic pink Himalayan salt. So I had mm-hmm. salt, cayenne pepper, like on everything. We learned how to make a butternut squash soup with our Vitamix. I mean, that was it for a month.
But if you want the full regimen, you can Google it, because we did a whole podcast on it when we were in it. So we could explain it a lot better, because this has been 3-4 years. But when we were in it, we described every day. But
it was before the pandemic that we did that.
Yeah. So if you Google and check it out, but you can get a full detailed everything of what we did. So that way, because right now we're trying to remember, and this was a long time ago.
And I had to, in a month, I must have lost like 12 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And one day I remember coming down the stairs, and at the time we had a mirror next to our front door, and I was about to walk out the door, and I caught a glimpse of myself, and I just saw like just my bones, and I have high cheekbones, and it was just like, I was like, oh my gosh, I look like a skeleton. I was losing so much weight so fast. And then I went back upstairs. I was like, I'm off of this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm going to order a pizza. Like, I can't do this. I look crazy.
She didn't. We kept her on.
So
we kept her on.
He called the doctors and Jesse on 3-way FaceTime. And they all literally talked me off the cliff. I mean, I got like a pep talk right there in our bedroom. And I'm like, all right. And they're like, no, just eat more. You can eat as much of those things as you want, but you have to stay the course. And at that point, I was probably maybe 14 days in, but it was very, very difficult, particularly for someone like me who really, really enjoys eating, you know?
So if you want more, because we went through a whole thing and it was good for the body. We lost a lot of weight. It was actually
you lost at least 17 pounds.
Yeah, I lost about 20 pounds or something like that. I lost a lot of weight in 30 days. It was the weight was just coming off of me. But back to what we were saying about eating, I've been doing that for a long time. I only eat until I'm satisfied. And then once I'm satisfied, I stop. I don't care if I have a big piece of chicken, some more rice, macaroni, greens, whatever it is. I put it in the fridge for the next day. When I'm done, I'm done. And that's probably why I stayed at this weight from. I usually weigh my weight usually goes from 175 to 185.
So this morning, Irma made this chicken salad, right? So she grilled actual chicken cutlets, and then chopped it up and did everything and made chicken salad. So she was like, "All right, would you like a sandwich?" I said, "Yes." So make me one sandwich on toast, and then make me 2 little buns on the what's it called? The Hawaiian
bread.
It's just Hawaiian, like the Hawaiian bread buns. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
So by the time that I finished the sandwich, I was about to eat the buns, and I paused, and I was and then I said, "Wait a minute, I think I'm full. Like I'm full." So then I said, "All right, I guess this would be my cue to stop." So then I put them in a Ziploc bag, and I'm saving it for after we're done with this podcast, and then I'll have it. But yeah, that's going to be like a new...
That's your routine.
That's going to be a new thing for me. I'm going to eat until I'm satisfied.
Okay. All right. Well,
Benz, you with me? She said a resounding
that's
yes.
a lie. Well, now in this podcast...
Huh?
Okay. So in this podcast, we're going to
You're just going to support me? Okay.
They can't hear Ben, so you got to repeat what she said because they definitely
She said, "No, I'm with you for you. I'm not with you for me."
Mhm. So on this podcast, I want to get dark a little bit, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Salute to, as we get older in age, everybody listening, that our parents get older in age, our grandparents get older in age, our aunts and uncles get older in age. And what I wanted to discuss is, how do we prepare for death? Reason I said that is my dad called me the other day and he said he had gout.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no idea what gout was. I thought gout was when you have gout, they have to amputate your leg. And I thought it was the same thing that killed Bob Marley. So when he said he had gout, I ran over there and I thought something was happening. Now, my dad is in his 80s. He's what, 82?
About that.
82, 83. I think my mom is 82 and he's 83 or 84 or something like that. I don't know. He's in his 80s.
Early 80s.
Early 80s.
Yeah.
So when he said he had gout, I ran over there and I realized that they said, to get rid of gout, they gave him some pills, some medicine.
Room.
Yeah, he went to the emergency room. And they said he has to eat more greens and they talked about it. So it wasn't nothing as serious, but it could be. Most people, when I say that, because I asked about it, it was like, does he have diabetes? He doesn't have diabetes, thank God. But the reason I was thinking, I was like, damn, my dad is high, 80s years old. Am I ready to not let him go? But if something happened, how would I take it? And I started breaking that down because, of course, he lives in Queens and we live in Jersey. So it's about a 45-minute ride to an hour ride. So I was just thinking about that. And I was like, that's something that we don't plan for. A lot of people plan finances to make sure that it can be covered or to find out, where he wants to be, this, that, and the other. But do you prepare mentally for that? And that's what I wanted to start preparing myself for. You hear so many times when people lose grandparents and parents and aunts and uncles and all this, and they're not prepared, and people are in a downer for months or years, and they can't get out of that state because they lost that somebody. And I was thinking to myself, how would I be in that time? I don't necessarily have, I don't want to say time, but I don't have time to grieve. I don't have time to shut down because I have...
Because you're an only child.
Only child, but I have 6 kids. I have a wife and I have to take care of mom or dad or whatever it may be. So I was like, well, how do you deal with this now? And I started to think about it. And I was like, when I think of death and I think of somebody who's older, should I be upset? Should I be down? Should I be sad? Or should I be happy? And not happy that they passed, but happy that they lived a long life. Happy that they got a chance to see their kids be successful and see their grandkids and see the things that they want to see. How should we look at it? I think a lot of times when we look at passing, we look at sad and it is sad and people are distraught. But then I always think about New Orleans, right? And in New Orleans, when people die, or I should say Louisiana, when people die, they have a party. It's uplifting. So I wanted to talk to you because with your mom, when your mom passed, it was a little different because it was sudden. It wasn't, she didn't, get an opportunity to pass at 80. And I'm sorry to throw this on you, but I just wanted to have that discussion. So how did you feel and how did you cope with it? And how would you ask people to cope with something like that? Because for myself, it was, I'm coping with it now. And I feel like if we would have coped with it earlier, it would have been different. And I'm sorry to bring this up. I see you about to tell. Ben, can you get me a tissue? Do you want to talk about it or no? Give you a second. And the reason I'm saying that is, and while I give you a second, is when I was sitting there talking to my dad, and I jumped in my dad's bed and jumped in my mom's bed today as a grown ass man. I was like, I was happy because my dad got to see everything. And he's not dying, there's nothing happening, but our camera guy, his mother is very ill right now. So he was talking about her. And I was just like, yes, we're getting to that age where our parents and our grandparents and our aunts and our uncles are getting up there in age. And how do we deal with that? And how do we deal with that in a relationship? Because death affects us all differently. All right, boo?
Mm-hmm. Keep on.
Keep going.
Yeah, for a second.
Okay. And the reason I said that is, of course, my parents have their life and everything that happens to them set up, right? They have life insurance policies. My mother is to the T with her stuff. But I was like, I don't want to be sad. And if I don't want to be sad, is that a bad thing?
No, that's a great thing.
Like, is that something where I should be ashamed? Because I don't want to be sad. I want to be happy. I want to be happy that my dad experienced so much life, because at the end of the day, everybody dies. Everybody passes. Everybody goes to some type of afterlife, believe in whatever you believe in. And I was sitting there and I'm like,
Ben's bought me toilet paper. You couldn't find the Kleenex.
there's the closet right there in the
It's
laundry
okay.
room.
It's okay. I don't care. I'm just kidding.
So
Okay.
I was thinking to myself, how do you deal with that? And how would I want my kids to deal with it, right? Madison, who just walked in, is probably, well, out of all my kids, she's the closest to me. The closest just like me, the closest thinks like me. She's the one that, like I said, if something, she's on the same wavelength as me, right? We think alike, we talk alike, we speak alike, we laugh at the same stupid jokes. We damn near dress alike, when not heels and skirts, but
You
know
guys
what I
wear
mean.
the same sweatshirt.
Same sweatshirts, like we are alike. And I was like, if something happened to me in my older age, how would I want her to be? And I don't want her to be sad. I want her to be happy. Yeah, she loses her best friend and the best dad in the world and and all that other stuff and her provider and her security. But I want her to look at life as, Dad seen it all. Dad got a chance to see me succeed. Right. Dad got a chance to see, me and have kids or whatever. She's not pregnant or nothing like that, but when she does. And that's how I want her to be. I want to change that culture of being sad, right? And like I said, this conversation came from seeing my dad today. And like I said, he's fine. He's in good health. He has, like I said, the gout problem. But I was just like, when he passes, I want to be happy. And not happy that he passed, but happy that he got to see everything.
So, excuse me. Let me take a sip of this first.
And as you can see, we don't talk about what we're going to talk about before the podcast. She probably would have been like, let's not do that. But I just wanted to talk about it because our podcast is about based off of things that we experience all day in our life. So that's what I wanted to discuss.
Yes. And I think you would have had Kleenex set up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's about whether they lived a long life. I think it's about whether they lived a good life.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's funny. I was talking to someone the other day and I said to them, and I think I've said it to you before, and I'm not trying to tempt anything to happen. So God rock with me on this one. But if something were to happen to me tomorrow, I would be okay with it.
Well, you wouldn't have a choice.
I was talking to you, Benz? Oh, okay. Ben said that I was talking to her about it. Yeah. I'd be okay with it. Or my everlasting soul would be okay with it.
Okay,
Rashawn.
there you go. Thank you.
Jeez. Because I feel as though I lived the best life.
Mm-hmm.
I feel very blessed with my family. And I'm very happy.
Mm.
Like I'm a very happy human being. And I've done and accomplished everything that I've ever wanted to.
Mhm.
You know, I am with the love of my life. I have 6 beautiful children.
Mhm.
We've traveled the world and we've done it the way that I wanted to do it. We find joy in things every single day.
Mhm.
It's really rooted in our family. You know, we laugh, we have fun, we
Mhm.
play, we joke. Like every day there's so much joy. And that's what you wish for another person. You
Mhm.
know, you wish that they can be as happy and have as much laughter as you do, you know? So I would be okay. The only thing that would bother me would be that I left my children behind and I didn't get to see them reach their full actualized selves and have their own families. That would be my regret. And obviously, I wouldn't get to live out the rest of my life with you. But as far as living a good life, I would think that my family would have every right to be happy.
Mm.
You know, because it's funny because I'm saying that, and I guess that's it's a real testament to the impressions that your parents have on you and how it is that they mold you. Because now I'm saying that my father used to say the same thing.
Mm.
And I'm realizing that he molded that mind frame for me because he did say that, if he were to pass, he would be good with that at that stage when he told me because he lived a full, happy, and good life.
Mhm.
And that helped me because when he did pass, I remember always thinking about that. And my father passed away a very long time ago. I was 19 when he passed away. And I just remember that giving me so much comfort, just knowing that he felt that he lived a great life and accomplished what he wanted to accomplish, But when you have a parent that's scared of death, when you have a parent that wasn't happy, that didn't live a good life, that struggled or was hurt by others or didn't fulfill their dreams, when they pass, I think that you're kind of left thinking like, gosh, I wish they could have achieved more. I wish they could have become self-actualized. I wish that they could have taken more with them when they left.
Mhm.
And I think that that's kind of when it hurts more. I mean, it's always going to hurt. I think that that's when it hurts more, when you feel as though they were cheated out of the life that they should have had,
Yeah.
But I know that at least my mom had something that my kids' 3 other grandparents didn't have. She got to see, well, not Peyton, but she got to see all of the other children. She got to see 5 of our 6 kids. And she got to see Madison and Logan grow up. And if you don't know, my mother passed away almost 3 years ago of dementia. And it's still very fresh for me, though.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing that I would say, what makes me happy is, I'm not just saying it because you're sitting over there in the corner, but I feel like if something happens to me, Madison got me.
Mm-hmm.
That's all
I mean, just forget about me. Like, you don't need me to take care of the rest of the kids or anything like that.
So like I said, when it comes to electronical stuff, that's not your forte. When it comes to cooking and everything else around the house, you're good money. But if it comes to anything electronics, you usually call me a Maddie.
This is true. So if you passed away, you would know that she can handle the Wi-Fi.
She can handle the Wi-Fi.
Very important point that you just made. I'm glad that you made it.
All right. Well, I just wanted to talk about that a little bit and just talk about dealing with how we should act. And because like I said, now that we're getting to a place where a lot of our parents and grandparents are getting a lot older.
How do you think that you would handle it if something happened to one of your parents? What do you think the reality is?
I think I would be fucked up until the funeral. Like until it's laid, because once it's laid and they're in the dirt or whatever, it's like a free moment. Because I feel like they will be free. I feel like they will be in a better place. and I feel like I'd have an angel watching over me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like I would have that, whether it's, you know, sometimes I get up and I can feel my grandmother. I can feel your mother. I can feel
Really?
those people. Yeah, all the time. And I think our kids can feel it. You know, Jackson talks about days where he just be chilling and doing nothing. And all of a sudden he just says, you know, I thought of grandma today. And when I see that, I feel like those are those angels and those moments. And those are the people that's taken and really watching over them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I would be hurt into those times. And then, you know, the best thing would be is keep pushing those moments and those ideologies that our parents are pushing on us, and make sure that our kids know them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, you give our kids lessons that you learn from your dad. Give your kids lessons that you learn from your mom. And I give kids lessons that I learned from my mom, my dad, my grandmother, and et cetera, et cetera.
But you can't just give them the lessons. You have to tell them where those lessons came from.
Of course.
You know, I'm always talking, she's here, but I'm always talking to Madison, and I may do something, and it doesn't matter what it is. I may do something for her or with her. And I'll say, you know, the reason why I did that. And she'll say, why? I'll say, because Mama Norma used to do that with me, or do that for me. Or, you know, the reason why I reacted the way that I reacted. And usually it's in a good way, you know. I'll say, because that's how Mama Norma would have done. Or this is something Mama Norma would have done for me. Or Mama Norma used to always say. Or my father used to always say. You know, I pass those things on so that they understand the value of what the people that came before you passed down.
That's right.
You know, and how it molded your mother or your father, and how that in turn molds you. Because then when she has children, she'll pass those same things down. And I know it because I see the way that Madison is with her younger siblings.
Mm-hmm.
She is with them the same exact way that I am with her.
Mm-hmm.
The mannerisms, the tone, even the breaks in her speech, like everything. It's like, wow, she sounds just like me. Or she took care of that situation exactly as I would have. When I took the girls to the dance competition, not the last one, but the one before that, they came in with their makeup all done, and Madison did their makeup that day. And they said, wow, their makeup looks so beautiful. And I said, yeah, like my daughter did that. Wow, she does it exactly the way that you do it. And I'm like, yeah, because, you know, I wear my eyeliner a certain way. Madison wears her eyeliner the same exact way. So when we do our girls' eyeliner, it's the same exact way. But there were just things that are passed down, and there's significant value
Absolutely.
in that, traditions and all. Your kids should know where all of that comes from. You should have pictures, like the little ones. I have to show them pictures of my dad, and have pictures of my dad and my mom around the house, because if not, if you don't speak of the dead just disappear. It's as though they never existed,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and their importance. And that's so sad when people pass away, and the significance of their importance and their
Mm-hmm.
contributions, when those things just disappear, as though the 70, 80, 90 years that they lived never even mattered. And the things that they left behind never even mattered. All the things that they worked hard for. I know people that are, you know, 4 generations down or 3 generations down, that are living in a house that they don't even know. It was left, you know, from generation to generation. And they don't even know the people that it was passed down from, you know? And it's like, wow, that person there might have been blood, sweat, and tears, and they worked their whole life to buy this house, to pay it off before they died. Now, all you have to do is pay the taxes, and now it's left to you, and you don't know the history or the glory of the person that came before you.
That's called generational wealth.
Mm-hmm. If someone is fortunate enough to attain enough that they can pass down from generation to generation, it's a beautiful thing. But
that's how most people, especially Black people, I would say not even just Black people, in different cultures, that's how people create generational wealth, because their grandmother buys a house, passes it down to the son or grandson, and then he passes it down. Now
it's
you have a house that's
gaining value.
Yep, you have a house that gains value, but you don't have to pay anything. You don't have a mortgage. All you have to do is pay taxes and utilities,
right?
And you use the money that you have to keep creating wealth.
But even look at your parents when they bought their house. How many years ago? I guess maybe like 46 years ago. I think they might have paid $50,000.
$32,000
for that house.
Mm-hmm.
Now the house is worth probably close to $1 million.
About 800.
Like
800, 900,000, yeah.
Yeah. Now look at that, and to be able to pass that down to a child or your children who can split that, and that can be their nest egg and what they use to, so it's just it would be such a shame if you or your grandchild or your great grandchild who will eventually have that house doesn't know the story of your parents. Don't know what your parents. So it's just very important. Well, this is my point.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important to speak of the dead.
Yeah, and also, I just want to say one thing before we go to the email of the week. And also, I would also say this, like she said, it's those stories that mean the most. I don't even know where you were, but I know it was me and Madison, and we had the girls, we had the babies out, and when we walked outside, it was a little sketchy outside, right?
What do you mean?
It was people, wherever we were, there was people outside. It felt sketchy.
Okay.
Like it could be a robbery, a stick up. Madison seen it the same time I seen it.
I remember you telling me this story. This was recently. This was within like the last 4 or 5 weeks, right?
Madison seen it when I seen it, and Madison's boyfriend was there. So you know me, I'm a 2A all day, so I'm fully protected. So I stepped to the side without me saying anything to Madison. Madison got those kids, threw them in the car, started the car.
I remember
pulled
the
out.
story. Yeah.
Now her boyfriend, who had no idea what was going on.
I mean, he's from Ohio.
He was over there crip walking, just chilling and doing cartwheels.
Maddie, do you remember where you guys were?
Well, we're not going to say where we were. I know where we were. I know where we were, but we're not going to say where we were.
Oh, you remember now?
Yeah, I knew where he was, but I didn't want to say where
Well, you said you didn't remember. I believed you.
But I knew where we were. But just to say that, like, she was prepared because she heard the story. She knows what to look for by speaking to me, by speaking to Grandpa. And she was ready. She was on point. And I was proud of her because I'm like, nah, she was boom in the car started, boom, damn near the doors open like that. If you got to jump in, let's go. And I sat on the side to make sure that I can protect. And if she had to go, she can go and knows that she could come back and get me. But those are the stories that she actually learned by talking to me and talking to Papa, what to look for, what you see. You always look around your surroundings. But those are the situations that I always say, if something happened, if the kids are out, I know Madison is always looking and prepared.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So I do believe that it's best to have a celebration of life.
That's right. And I want to just say one other thing before we go on. A lot of people are forgetful. And when I say forgetful, they feel like when their parents get old, their parents are a burden, right? I never feel that way. And I want people to really think about it. Your parents take care of you when you're a baby, change your Pampers, give you milk, give you food, take you to school, get you school clothes, make sure you do your homework, make sure you do your grades, make sure they take care of you until you take care of yourself. It could be 12 years, 15 years, or 18 years, however long that takes.
Some people are 40 still living at home, so.
Right. So now when your parents get old and they have dementia or they get sick or they have Pampers or whatever it may be, and you feel like it's a burden, you're a fucked up person. And the reason I say that is because your parents do everything for you when you can't. So now when that cycle changes, you should be able to make sure that you're there for them. And I always joke with Madison and I always say, Maddie, when I get to this age, you going to change my pamper? And she always says, nope, I ain't changing your pamper.
I'll pay someone to.
I'll pay somebody to do it, but I ain't changing your pamper.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of lifestyle you want. You want to make sure that your kids take care of you. When Gia's mom was here, we took care of everything. We took her on trips, even though she didn't remember because we didn't care. We just wanted mama to be happy. And I just wanted to end like that.
Yes.
All right. Now, it's time to get to the email of the week. Madison, I love you to death, but you have to go down there because this email is out of your range, even though that you're 22 years old.
She's grown. She's grown.
You can come back in 30 minutes, Maddie. All right. Hi, Gia and Envy. I would really appreciate your advice and not disclose my name. This has been happening to me for a long time, and I want your opinion. Now, I'm a woman that has a menstrual cycle that is pretty bad, sometimes up to 10 days. My man does not want to do anything with me for those 10 days. How do you feel? I always hear about, hey, I'm not scared to run red lights, but in this situation, it seems like he is scared. I don't understand. We've been together for a long time, and I don't understand what the problem would be to run a red light. Is it me or is it him? Please advise, because even through all of this bothers me. What do you think?
Hold on a second. Benz, did you know about this? You knew about this email?
No, he's like that one.
Are you kidding me? Because what's the likelihood? Literally right before Rashawn came downstairs. Right, Estat? Right before he came downstairs, we were having this exact conversation. You guys aren't playing a joke on me?
No.
Okay. This exact conversation. And I mean, I'm ready to go because we just came off. He came downstairs, you sat down, and you said, what are you guys laughing about?
And y'all wouldn't tell me. Y'all said, I'm never mind.
No, but then I kind of said like what it was and whatnot, and you're just sitting here like,
yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, you're the guy, so let's hear your opinion. How do you feel about running red lights?
You're the girl that I'm running with, so how do you feel about it?
You don't run a red light. I feel like you go through the yellow light slowly.
I'll take that.
You don't quite run the red light.
Yeah, I don't necessarily run the red light. I don't lay the towel down and run the red light, but I will munch the red light.
Sit there and gnaw on it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I personally do not want to have sex, well, intercourse during that time of month because it's a lot. Like, I wouldn't feel comfortable with that.
But people do. And
I don't know. I'm like, talking about me.
Okay, and like they say, period don't stop nothing but a sentence. But go ahead.
But for me, my period is very, very, very insignificant.
2 days the most.
In a sense. I have maybe like 2 day periods and they're very, very light.
No cramps, no stomach aches, no problems, no attitudes, no nothing. So we can get right to it.
Yes. So it's here and then it's gone. Now, if it lasted for 10 days, maybe it'd be worth having a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that I'd want to have intercourse on a full-blown period.
So,
I think it would be messy. I think you would look messy. I would look messy. I feel like it would look like a crime scene. You know? So I wouldn't want that. But when it comes to, him having to put on his scuba gear, that's okay because without being too graphic, you prepare for that. You make sure that you take the proper measures so that there's nothing there and you look like a newborn baby, So I'm cool with that.
But to answer her question, if you had to wait 10 days and she was 10 days, so maybe not.
Well, no, that was part of her question. She did say, do you feel as though basically am I bugging? So.
Yeah, but I think if 10 days of not having anything and no sex, I think you might have to lay the towel down, turn the lights off and go at it and then get up in the morning before he does, wipe him down, and nobody will even know.
Get up in the morning. You sound like a dirty birdie. Get up in the morning. So you're just going to lay there in that all night?
Okay, maybe not.
So after you're done, you're not going to go take a shower?
Okay, baby. I don't know.
What?
I don't know. I don't have this situation with you, so I don't know. But,
So here's a question. If you had to wait 10 days with me, what would be your take? Would you say, all right, let me speed through the red light, or I'll just wait?
It's a difficult thing because, like I said, without too much information, you're not heavy. You're not a heavy bleeder, right? Very light. You don't even. Half the time she doesn't even know. So it doesn't bother us. It doesn't concern us. But in that case, if it was much, but it's 10 days, so you don't necessarily have to have intercourse. I mean, y'all can both play with each other. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to go insertion where it'll be blood, but you still want to be intimate during that time. Some women, I feel that don't. They just don't want no part of any man during that time because of cramps and things like that. You hear that all the time. But I think each situation is different, and I think you should have that conversation and maybe not have intercourse if he does it, because I understand it. I would hate to pull out and see all that blood on me. It would scare the ish out of me.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. If that were the case, let's say it's 10. Let's not say it's particularly heavy or particularly light. Let's just say it's like normal. Like there will be blood. You know what I mean? Would you?
I wouldn't mind.
You wouldn't mind? You wouldn't mind? And then it's like, this is the aftermath?
I would not.
Really? It wouldn't gross you out?
You're talking to the guy, the only person in this house that when the kids throw up, I have to pick it up. You're talking to the guy that if there's a problem with the toilet, I have to fix it. You think that nothing grosses me out?
And you think that you would enjoy it through the act?
I wouldn't be looking like, oh, just blood. No, just knock it in and knock it out.
Not really, because you have to change positions.
Nah.
You have to handle it. You have to touch it. I just feel as though, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm relatively inexperienced in this room, because that's not something that we practice. But in all fairness, we don't really have to practice it.
Correct.
Because at the most, he would only have to wait 2 days, right?
Right.
So I'm wondering, I mean, clearly you would have to, unless you just commit to one position, you both make it work.
Get it in, get it out.
In that position. And then, again, you take the proper precautions, you lay towels and whatnot, then you get up, and then I guess you both go take a shower together.
Sexy shower, and then go to sleep.
I think it can be done, and I think it can be fine, right?
Yep.
Seems like a lot, but for her, she's basically saying, he's like, yeah, no way, right? So she wants to know if he's bugging. So what do you think?
I don't think he's bugging. It's just what he enjoys and what he likes. And if he doesn't like it, he makes him feel uncomfortable. You have to respect that. Maybe y'all both play with each other where he doesn't see the blood. Maybe the blood is what icks him out. And
maybe?
Blood is what icks him out. So I think that's fine. And I think you just have to understand that. I mean, I get it. Some people don't like to see that. I wouldn't want to see that. I don't guess not if it's heavy or nothing like that. So I would say, you have to meet him in the middle somewhere, and maybe just playing with each other makes the job done and makes it work. But have the conversation and tell him what's going on. He might feel like you bullshitting and be like, man, you don't really have 10 days of a period. He might be thinking that as well. But I would just tell him, if he doesn't feel comfortable with it, he doesn't feel comfortable with it. And I wouldn't push him to do it.
I feel as though you definitely need to respect his boundaries, because I think that it's thoroughly understandable that he may think that that's gross and that it may turn him off.
Right.
I think that during those 10 days, your sex life does not have to suffer, because there are a lot of other forms of sex that you can have that will be thoroughly pleasurable for the both of you.
That's right. Or you go down on him, which is...
Well, that's what I'm referring to.
Or
in a bunch of other things.
Or right in the dookie hole.
Well, there's that too. Okay. But you know what? I don't know if I think you're being funny, but maybe you're not. A lot of people, that is their alternate.
Oh.
I mean, you know what? That's actually a good thing to kind of talk about, because I know people and have known people.
She's stuttering right now. Goes, I know a guy, I know a girl that.
No, but during that time of the month, well, that's part of their.
But women have to be comfortable with that too, because a lot of women are not comfortable with that.
That's part of their typical sexual behavior, So during that time of month, they just reroute.
Just reroute.
They just reroute.
Take a different trip. Go to Miami this way. Go to Miami that way.
So he's satisfied. She's satisfied, and there's no harm, no foul. So I'm assuming that you're probably not into that, or that he's probably not into that.
Because that would have been the answer.
That would be the answer.
Yep.
If it's something that you're open to, maybe have a little fun discovering that. And if it's something you've never thought of, maybe you can open that door and decide if it's for you or not. This way, the both of you, don't have to. There's another angle. There's another angle. But there's all different forms of sex that you can have. And during those 10 days, like, I would make sure that I was like a whole sex pot. Like, just don't let your relationship suffer for a third of every month.
That's right.
All
right.
So that's how I'd handle it.
Okay. Well, if you want to email us, you can. It's thekcrew@gmail.com. It's THEEKCrew@gmail.com.
We have another email?
No. Next week.
No.
We're done.
What's our time? We have 10 minutes left? I need another email. You're not going to do this. We have so many emails. We need another email.
Okay.
He's always trying to shortchange y'all. We have 8 minutes. But if we go beyond 8 minutes, it's fine, right?
I just first wanted to say, DJ Envy, I listen to you daily on The Breakfast Club. It's still my favorite podcast and how I start my mornings. And Gia, I love your energy. You're a class act. I think you guys have a beautiful relationship. I love the chemistry between the two of you, busy careers and 6 kids later. Now, my question is, my partner and I have been together for 6 years now. And in the beginning, we were very happy and passionate. We moved in together 2 years ago and we both have children from previous relationships.
They moved in how long ago?
2 years ago.
Okay.
This has put a strain on our relationship as far as having alone time for romance, and I have noticed a change in the chemistry altogether. And we have experienced a lot of differences in the past year. We both desire to get back to the love and relationship we had in the past because it was really sweet. Would you recommend couples counseling, or what things did you do? What did you guys do in the time to find the time and rebuild the passion and fun in your relationship? Hope to hear back from you, and thank you for your time and your advice.
We moved in together 2 years ago and we both have children from previous relationships. This has put a strain on our relationship. So she's saying that the move in together put a strain on their relationship?
Yeah, she's saying to move in together and the fact that they have kids.
But in the 4 years before they moved in together, they had kids.
Mhm.
So it's insinuating to me that it was the move as far as having, alone time for romance. So I guess maybe having the kids in the house, maybe together.
Maybe. And children, life, house, everything, and they don't have time to spend with each other. Yep.
So basically life is lifing.
Mhm.
You're in a house
Mhm.
with children,
Yep.
having to tend to the children's needs.
Yep.
And it's putting a strain on their relationship, which is kind of eliminating their chemistry and their connection. What do you think?
So definitely couples counseling is never a problem. I actually like couples counseling. I like the idea of it because if you guys can't see eye to eye, it's kind of like a referee in the middle that doesn't care about you, that doesn't care about him, that can just look clearly down the middle and see how things are. Gia and I have never done couples counseling. But when we got married and we were forced to talk to the priest.
Remember, we never did it. Oh, we just spoke to a priest once. He came to the house before he would marry us.
Yeah. But outside of that, I think it's one of those things that I think, and Gia hates when I say this, but you guys need to have a conversation, right? And the reason Gia hates when I say that, because she always like, is everything a conversation with you? Yes. And the reason I say that is because sometimes people don't see what you see, right? And sometimes a normal conversation, not nagging, not beefing, not bitching, because when people nag, beef, and bitch, people cut you off immediately. But just hey, babe, let's talk for a second. Yo, we never spend time with each other. I really miss you. I think that would be a better way of getting a conversation done than let's have a conversation. Because right now, as soon as you say, let's have a conversation, he's going to put his guard up because that's just what most people do. But if it's more freely like, I miss you, I want to do things with you. Like, what are you doing this weekend? Now it opens it up to be like, oh, she's not beefing. She's not nagging. She just wants to spend some time. Okay, let's have this conversation. And I think that works better.
That might be a little hard to do.
What do you mean?
Okay, I'm going to be honest, right?
Yep.
So let's say it's a situation where the chemistry is suffering.
Yep.
And because the chemistry is suffering, we may not have that inherent desire to spend time together. So it doesn't occur to us.
Mhm.
But let's say it starts occurring to me and I realize that I miss it.
Mhm.
Maybe it is a matter of pride. Maybe it is a matter of ego. But I would honestly have a problem, and this isn't good. I'm not saying that this is good, but I'm just being real and I'm internalizing the email and trying to figure out how I would actually feel. But I would have a problem having to be the one to come to you and say, I miss you. Let's do something together. What are you doing this weekend? Because I would feel like, damn, don't you miss me? Like, don't you want to spend time with me? Don't you notice that the chemistry is suffering? Don't you notice that there's a lack of a connection or a bond?
That is pride and ego.
I'm acknowledging that.
But for a relationship, for things to work, it can't be no pride and ego.
Well, I have to present it because I don't know if that could be an obstacle that she might be experiencing or anybody that's watching that may be able to relate to her email. If that might be an obstacle that they might be hindered by. Because I would kind of feel that way. Like, damn, if you want to see this relationship go to hell, then all right, then I'm gonna watch it go to hell. That might be how I feel. I may be able to overcome that because I know that that's not the correct approach. That's not the productive approach. Like that approach isn't going to get me the results that I would want for my marriage. But in my own internal dialogue, yeah, I would have a problem. I would have a problem with the fact that it would be clear and evident that you didn't feel the same thing that I felt, that you weren't missing the same things that I'm missing. Like, damn, am I in the Twilight Zone? Like, do you not realize, like, this is bleeped up? Like, that there's a problem that we don't do anything together, or that, we're not making the time? Like, is this not a priority for you? Is it not that important to you? I would feel some type of way.
But I think that's what kills relationships, and that's what kills marriages,
Yes,
pride.
I know.
And I think if you want a marriage or a relationship to work, you have to take pride out the window, even if it's you. There's been times in our relationship where you had to take pride away, and maybe I did something that upset you, and you had to come back and be like, look, I'm having a problem with this.
I mean, I've done it 1,000 times.
But that's probably saved our relationship, because if not,
Yes.
there would be problems that we didn't solve that keep getting worse and keep getting worse.
Yes.
And the same with me. Maybe there was things that bothered me that I didn't, that I had to come and be like, let's have this conversation, even though I was mad at you. But taking away pride from our marriage and our relationship saved our marriage and relationship and made it stronger.
1,000 times.
So you have to take that pride and ego out and be like, this is my motherfucking problem. Because if not, that person that you love and that you love spending time to, it might be gone because of pride. So sometimes
true.
throw the pride out the window.
But I have to address it, because although I always had the potential to overcome my own pride, and on the greater part of those occasions I did, I have to acknowledge the fact that there was something that could have potentially held me back, because I'm sure that there are people that are men as well. It's not just women that are held back because they don't want to be the one to feel as though they're begging for something, or that someone's patronizing them, by like, I always will say to you, like, anything that you do, I want you to do from your heart, and because you actually want to do it. I'm not the type of person that would ever want to ask for something and kind of back you into a corner before you do something for me. Like, no. Like, let's say we had a problem with affection, which we don't. But I know a lot of women do. A lot of women and men, but I have more female friends, so I'm talking more on their behalf. A lot of women crave attention, but they may be with someone that's not affectionate, that's not touchy-feely, that's not lovey-dovey, that, doesn't pay them compliments and things like that, and they crave that. So now, hypothetically, let's say they were to go to that man and say, you never pay me a compliment, and it makes me feel some type of way. Like, it hurts my feelings. We're going out to dinner tonight. I got all dolled up for you. I spent 2 hours getting ready and wanting to look beautiful to impress you. And here I am. And you didn't even say, like, hey, you look beautiful tonight, or I love your dress, or I love your hair, or anything. It makes me feel some type of way. Then let's say the next time that they go out, you come down the stairs and he's like, gosh, you look beautiful. I want to be like, yo, shut up. Like, don't tell me I'm beautiful now because I told you to tell me that I'm beautiful. I would feel like, gosh, if you felt that way, you would have said it all these other times. Don't come and hug up on me and kiss me now. If you felt that way, then you would have done it. So now that I had to ask you or beg you or kind of probe you to do it, now I don't want it. And that can be a problem. I know that I would feel that way. Like, I don't want to have to probe for anything.
But it's not a matter of probing.
Unless it's like a matter of preference. Now, preference might require you telling someone what you prefer. Like, they're already doing something, but maybe you prefer something else. But the intent is there. Everything that needs to be there is there. They just might need a little bit of guidance. That's fine. But when nothing is there and a person isn't giving you anything at all, and you have to let them know, and then they do it, it's kind of like, take that.
But see, you can't have that pride. Hey, baby.
Hi, Jessica.
But I love you too. Okay, baby.
You have a gift for me? Okay, when we're done. Okay, thank you, baby. Love you.
Just for mom, not for me? You got a gift for mom?
She
not
said it was just for me.
No gift for me?
You weren't paying attention? It was just for me.
Okay, bye.
Oh, is the chocolate I like? Lintor.
No, we're doing
Don't
podcast.
show me.
Podcast.
When we're done.
All right, but like I was saying.
Wait, I'm going to show you.
I know, I see. But the problem is this. The problem is you don't know the reason. And pride and ego could have you stop asking and could fix something very small that's now bigger. I mean, because I could be looking at the relationship and I could feel the same way. She don't want to spend time with me, this, that, and the other. And be like, I'm not going to ask her. And she's like, I'm not going to ask him. But they really feel the same way.
Two wrongs don't make a right.
Right. So I would say, to answer your question, is to have a conversation, open that door up, take the ego and take the pride. If you really care for this man and you really want a great relationship, take the ego and pride out. Have a conversation, try to make it work. And if it doesn't, fuck it. But at least you did what you were supposed to do. And sometimes I feel like as couples, as married couples, or just in a relationship, we have to take pride out of it to make it work better.
Yes. And I'm a testament to what Rashawn is referring to, working. Because like he said before, there's been many times where I did feel the way that I described to you guys, but I sat back and came to my senses and had to overcome my own setbacks in order to take some steps forward. And it always worked out. It may not have worked out the first time that I brought it up. It might have taken 26 times of me bringing it up. But at some point, if a person loves you, you'll crack that shell, you know? But she did ask, pass me the email.
She did ask what?
At the end, let's see. Would you recommend, okay. Or what things did you guys do to find the time to rebuild the passion and fun in your relationship?
Well, we didn't have to rebuild fun in our relationship. And I think having those conversations, like we said, where we take ego and pride out is what allowed us to have those conversations.
Well, we didn't have to rebuild, but in a sense, we can answer her question. What things do you think that we do to keep the fun and the passion and the chemistry and the connection?
I don't know. We just be ourselves. I mean, I think if a relationship is happy, I think it's always there. I don't try to be funny. I don't try to be fun. I don't try to impress you. I don't try to.
You don't try to impress me?
No, I do it because it's natural. Like,
you naturally?
Yeah, naturally do it. So I don't try. I don't sit there and be like, today I'm going to impress Gia by doing this.
You just do things out of love.
I just do it.
But it winds up impressing.
But I think having a good relationship and being good with each other, you do that naturally. Like, I don't sit there and be like, it's Tuesday. What can we have fun? I jump into bed and we watch television and I wrestle you. Or I'm like, babe, let's go here. Like, we just do things naturally because we're happy in our relationship.
I think that you have to always challenge your partner and hold them to a certain standard. That's my answer. That's my answer. I'm kind of sorting through it now in my mind. You have to hold them to a certain standard and make sure, because I feel as though if someone loves you, they'll and if they respect you, they'll rise to that standard. I feel like that's the truth between us, because I feel as though, and you can let me know if you feel the reverse, but I know that you're oftentimes overworked and it can show up in your personality sometimes. And if I don't hold you to the standard of it's not acceptable to bring that home or to take whatever's going on the external world out on the people in your internal world, if we don't get into arguments and disagreements about it, if I don't hold your feet to the fire, I feel as though that would become normal and in an unspoken way acceptable.
Mhm.
And that's the life that we would live, where I would just have to expect when you have a hard day or a disappointment, or if you're stressed or tired
Mhm.
that that's how you're going to be when you get home. That I would have to just accept that. And I don't. And I think that because you love me and you respect me and you know that the conversations that I bring up that pertain to that are legitimate, and you know that I'm not a nagger
Mhm.
and I'm not someone that's just going to hit you upside the head with things because I want to fight. I think that you respect those standards,
Mhm.
and you pull your weight, you do what you need to do. So I think that Rashawn calls it having conversations, but I think that you have to always, when there's something bothering you, you do have to make mention of it.
Mhm.
And don't wait for it to get too far gone. It's much easier for a person to change a little something than change a lot of something. So don't wait till the snowball is huge. Like when that snowball first starts rolling, that's when, you sit down and, create a comfortable situation where you can have a conversation where he doesn't feel as though you're nagging, where he doesn't feel as though he's being attacked, and say, hey, this is what's missing. And I think that we should work together because we don't want the relationship to become too far gone,
Mhm.
So be proactive about it.
Okay. And if you got a question for us, you can always email us, thekcrew@gmail.com. That's TheeKCcrew@gmail.com. And we'll see you guys next week. It's time to get up out of here. I'm DJ Envy.
And I am Gia Casey.
And that was another edition of the KC Crew.
Toodles.